Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Rugby Hub episode. It's been a while, Gabs. How are you doing?
Oh, Gweri, I missed the rugby so much I decided just to wear my jersey for the whole weekend, basically. I've been wearing this thing
And you
since
look
Thursday
good.
afternoon. Thanks, man. You look great. I love that All Blacks warm-up jersey you're wearing. Um, by the way, Rugby Sevens World Cup currently going on. Unfortunately,
Mm,
Blitzbokke not getting the results we were hoping them to
that is
get.
unfortunate.
Very big shout out to the female Blitzbokke team. They played really well, and at least the Bokke
Yeah.
ended up their campaign on a 32-5 win over Samoa, which was quite impressive.
Mm,
But we lost to the Irish to see ourselves out in the quarterfinals, which is definitely not good enough. But super
yeah,
good atmosphere in Cape Town. Lovely to see the buzz around Cape Town and the hype with the
it's
Sevens
true.
Rugby World Cup. So yeah, excited to see tonight who's going to win that one. But yeah, Gweri, anything you want to add on that Sevens World Cup?
Well, not really necessarily, but I thought the Irish were very good against
Yeah.
the Blitzbokke, and it's sad to see the Blitzbokke going out of their own tournament, sort of at the Rugby World Cup at
Yeah,
Greenpoint Stadium, which is a shame to see. But yeah, there'll be more tournaments. We know that they're a great team. They will bounce back. And yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I
I
guess
mean,
Neil
sad thing
Powell
is,
is looking for a better performance. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, just to end it off, a sad thing. I think not speaking with 100% certainty, but I actually think that was the last kind of game or tournament that Mr. Powell was in charge. So really
And true,
sad
true.
to see him
He's
leave on
heading to the
that kind of,
Sharks. Yeah,
yeah.
he's heading to the Sharks. Yeah.
Sad to see him leave on a note like that. But let's get into
Mm.
Raga's 15 man. Let's
Let's
talk
do
some
it, Gabsy. We've
rugby.
got a
Well,
team of the week. Oh, no, I'm
yes.
sorry. It's the team
Team.
of the round 3 and 4.
Hmm.
Just to explain to you guys how this goes. So we had a team for round 1 and 2, and then we have another team for round 3 and 4 that we will be discussing today. But then obviously the team of the championship which would be our third sort of team of the round, if you want to call it that way, video, that is all up to our viewers. So we encourage everyone to discuss and sort of chat on our comment section who they would like to see. And then obviously, Gabsy, in terms of this week, you
Yes.
decided that
Let's
you're
get.
going to be doing the forwards and I'm going to be doing the backs.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
have a bit
thought
of
it would be
experience on
easier.
hooker. That's why I thought, like I
You
played a
have
couple of
experience on
games.
hooker.
I played a couple of games, and it's so I
No, you
thought,
didn't.
let me take charge of the forwards and give you a go at the backs. I mean, like
All
what I
right.
also said, guys, please go. We will put on some polls on Instagram. If you don't follow the Instagram page, it's just Rugby Hub. If you want to, just go and search it on Instagram. Please give us a shout out there and just follow the content, comment, and give us your inputs on the team of the tournament because we will really choose the team with you guys. If you don't have Instagram, just comment it below. This guy needs to be in there. And we
Absolutely.
will definitely take that into consideration. But for now, let's get into
What do you
the
have, Gabs?
tournament so far. Round 4 is finished. And I'm going to start it off with Ethan de Groot. Ethan
The
de
Groot.
Groot, the man from down under. Further down
What do
Australia, you
you
have New Zealand, and it's Ethan de
down
Groot
down
coming in there.
under? Yeah.
Past Australia, we sadly don't see any Australians featuring in this forwards lineup because they don't deserve to. But anyways, Ethan de Groot coming in there, very proud of the youngster, taking that jersey
Yeah.
and making it his own. And then on hooker, we got Guran with the pronunciation. I will say a bit more about him, but Guri, can you please do that pronunciation for me?
We discussed this before. Samasone Tokiaho.
Exactly. Thank you.
Phenomenal. Yeah,
100%
he's been
line
great.
outs in that last game. Excellent
Yeah.
game for him. 39 meters gained. And then to wrap it up with the tight five, well, the front three, the front row is going to be France Malherbe coming in there. His work rate has
Mm,
just been immense. Stable as a rock in the scrum. And, this
yeah.
guy, he just comes week in, week out, and he does his job and he doesn't get enough credit for it. So, Francie coming in there with
It's true,
us. Yeah.
Gabs.
Yeah.
No, look,
Definitely.
let's just quickly pause on that
Yeah.
quick front row that you mentioned, right? Obviously, Franz Malherbe, who actually we picked in our first 2 rounds, he's been, even in a Bok losing side in that third match where we played against Australia, he was still very, very
Really
good.
good. Yeah,
He does his job extremely well. So I
exactly.
think Ninoba mentioned it as well. The fact that you don't see guys like Frans Malherbe getting a lot of plaudit for their performances. But if you think about the amount of meters that the Springboks gain from a scrum penalty, or
Exactly.
the kick to post that the
Exactly.
Boks get from a scrum penalty. I mean, all of that, if you count that up, I
Also,
mean,
just that shift of momentum, getting a scrum penalty on your own
yeah.
5 meter line. In general, he's tackling. He's an excellent player, and he deserves
I
definitely a
think in that
special
last
mention.
game, Gabsy, he made something like 12 tackles. And from what I've heard, he's actually a defensive leader in the squad as well. So
Exactly.
he
Yeah.
does his work around the ruck very well. Samasoni Tukiaho, who I mentioned
Yes. Toki,
because
Toki, Toki, yeah, wow.
pronunciation is a bit difficult for us here in South Africa. But I mean, he's been rock solid. If the All Blacks win or lose, he's always been
No,
a
he was really
standout
good. I have to say,
performer.
in all of the games, he's actually for me already in the team of the tournament. He really needs to mess it
Yeah.
up
I
to
mean,
not get in
he's
the
a
team of the
young
tournament.
guy. He hits his line out marks, and
Mm,
he's got a great physicality on him, and
exactly.
really brings a lot of energy
Yeah.
to that
No,
forward
I
pack.
mean,
And so does Ethan de Groot, actually, young
definitely.
guy, really coming in with not really a lot of experience, but just brings a heap of sort of mongrel towards All Blacks
Exactly.
pack that really needed it towards the start of
Yeah.
the Rugby Championship. But regardless, let's move on to the locks, Gab. Sorry for
No,
interrupting.
definitely. No worries, Goody. It's definitely worth it to have a special mention for these lads. They, definitely
Yeah,
deserve it.
they don't
Let's
get the
go.
plaudits
They don't get
they
it always,
deserve.
It's always the
Yeah,
fly-offs and the fullbacks, and that's why
it's
we all
true.
want to play there. But anyways, to get over to the locks, this week, excellent performance in his last game, and he's been really consistent. Is Sam Whitelock. He did 10 out of 11
It's been very
tackles.
good.
He had a
Yeah.
line-out turnover one.
Mm.
2 line-out turners that he won, and he also had one actual turnover penalty. So, in general, really good performance from him. I think we also want to mention Labanini there, but just he's been too good in the last game to ignore him. So it's
The
going to go
thing
out to
is also,
Whitelock.
Gabs, is when we do our predictions, obviously we're rating it over 2 games. And since this rugby championship has been so inconsistent in terms of who's gonna
Yeah,
win, who's not gonna win, that we have 2 teams that actually perform extremely well on 2
exactly,
opposite weekends. So
exactly,
Lavanini was exceptional in that first win over the All Blacks, and then the weekend after, Whitelock was exceptional
exceptional.
in
Yeah.
the win. Yeah, in the win. So I mean, yeah,
It's,
well,
it's
no
it's a
faults there.
difficult one, and I think we mentioned that in the first time we selected that
Yeah,
first team of the tournament, especially with the tournament going the way it is right now. One week
yeah,
the one team wins, the other week the other team wins. It's
yeah,
super difficult to pick a team of 15 players. So bear with
yeah.
us. Let us know what you think of our selection. But that's our locks. The second
Mm.
lock, of course, Eben Etzebeth. I didn't even think I have to mention, but that guy was just once again
Yeah,
a
he's been a
monster.
monster,
He's been a monster.
monster.
He's been
Yeah.
over social media for some, yeah, probably
For
not
what,
so.
Gabs? For what has he been
He's been
in
shoving
social
around the
media
boys.
except for being an absolute enforcer that he is?
I think it was just a little bit of drama after that try from, yes, yeah, it's like Afrikaans drama. But yeah, just for a little bit of the drama that was caused after that try of Mapimpi.
Yeah.
And, it's a bit, he had a little bit of a grudge of Alalatoa. The guy tore
Mm.
up his 50th test jersey way back when they had a scruffle. That was his 50th test jersey that the guy
Shit,
tore
I
up.
didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, that's why the guy was a bit,
Okay,
upset with him.
so who are you going with? Are we going
Yeah,
with
it's a bit.
Sam
It's
Whitelock and
and
Etzebeth?
it's a bit exactly. Thank you for bringing me
That
back to
is
the
a
point. You know how I get about these scruffer ruffles. Um, anyways, but yeah, we gotta make up the word sometimes. There's just
yeah.
not a word you can use for what happened there. Then let's get to the loose forwards. Sia Kulisi, Mr.
Oh,
Fantastic. He can't do anything
so
wrong right
glad you
now.
mentioned his name. Yo.
You thought I wasn't gonna put in a bock in the loose trio, but I
No,
get
he's
it.
great. Yeah.
Sia was really rock solid as always. He really led by example. In both games, I think he was really good. He was a
Mm.
standout player in the game that we lost. And it's sad that he did not get a man of the match in the one that we won, because I really think he played really well. Um,
Yeah.
And yeah, no disrespect to Damien, but Sia played really well in that game. And then I have Mostert coming in for me as well. So another block there.
Okay.
Please, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a little bit of comments about that one.
Yeah, because
But
he didn't start the first game
first,
against
no.
Australia, right?
But he had a
So
very good impact off the bench. I
yeah.
think towards the end of that game, Kwaga and himself, they played really well. And,
Mm.
we got a bit of points on the board eventually. But in this last game, he scored a try. Never mind the try, he played an amazing game of rugby. His work rate was
Mm.
tremendous. He's another line-out option, and he's done
He's an
everything that he's
absolute,
been selected
I
for.
mean,
So
he's an 80-minute player, Gabs. I mean,
exactly,
that guy, if he needs to, and I think you mentioned it as well in one of our previews, saying that you're expecting,
a big
how did you
performance
say
from
it?
him.
Yeah, not only, but a man of the match performance
Yeah,
from a
I
guy like
actually
Franco Mostert.
voted him for
And
man of
he
the
is a
match.
player.
Yeah.
He is a player that can do it because he has an 80-minute tank on him. So it's
Hmm.
definitely plausible. And then I've got to agree with Sia Khaleesi. I mean, that guy has been in such good form. Win or lose for the Boks, that guy's just been everywhere. So
No, definitely. Sia
yeah,
deserves the man of the match soon. Hopefully, this next game he gets it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then on eighth man, I guess I don't even have to say it out loud, but Audie Sevilla retaining his position. What a player! This guy's work
How
rate is
good?
just, I don't know, man. 12 out of 10. He's just amazing. Like, the guy does everything on the pitch. He's all over the show.
Yeah. I mean, any international team would want him on his side. I mean, he's been exceptional. He's a good leader as well. I mean, we've discussed this before the pod as well. No mention of Pablo Matera. The thing is,
He's been
Gabs, it's
amazing, but
very,
getting
yeah,
50 in that second game, it's difficult not
I
to go
know
with
it's
Audie.
very difficult to choose an Argentinian player with consistent good performances, especially after that, 50 deficit loss against the All Blacks. But yeah, I thought Pablo Matera was very good. But I mean, you don't have to look further than Audis Javier. I mean, this guy,
No, definitely.
he's been in our previous selection as well, and he's been super great since then. So
Yeah,
yeah, no,
no, Audie's
that's a
just
good 8, Gabs.
amazing,
That is a
amazing.
good 8.
Thank you, Goody. I appreciate it. I think it is a pretty good team, to be honest. Well, front row and
Mm,
loose forwards, locks, all of them, they really deserve it.
mm,
Please let me know where you disagree and who you would have liked to see
true.
perform in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, before we get over to the backs, guys, really like just give us your input. We really want to on the Instagram page see some
Mm,
feedback as well. We're gonna this week start doing the polls for the team of the tournament, and we will really use your decision to choose our team. So also, if you don't have Instagram, please just comment below. Listen, I really want to see Nick White in there, which I really hope is not in the team. But Gweri, please get us over to the backs.
okay, so on the backs, on number 9, I have Nick White.
What? Are you making a
Sorry,
joke?
I'm not even.
I need some
I'm
stats to back
actually
that
not
up.
making a joke.
You're not making
Gabsy,
a
I'm not
joke.
making a joke. I'm not.
You're an even
You
better actor than him.
no, but you kind of set me up for that one. Nick White, in my opinion, obviously, I thought he had an incredible game against the Springboks that first game. I know there's a lot to be said about the way that he handled the mustache slap that Faf de Klerk got a yellow card for. But
Hmm.
he drives in some way the forwards of the Australian pack to get underneath the skin of the South Africans. And he does that super well. And you can see it in that second game, even though the Springboks were, sort of dominating the sort of game.
Yeah.
But Nick White still kept on. His mouth was never shut. And in some way, that's what you want from a scrum off, right? You want a sort
No,
of
of course, Gordy. I'm
assertiveness.
I'm gonna respect you choosing the backline this week, and I'll accept that. Mostly because there's been so
Thank
much
you.
rotation, in the Bok camp and in the other teams.
Yeah.
I think there's also been quite a bit of rotation in that jersey. I'd probably
It's
rather
good to
go
say, Gabs.
for
It's good to say that.
Ricky Janiori or a Bola Conradi, but anyways, I'll accept
You're not
your.
allowed to, obviously. Look, there's an argument to be made for Jaden Hendricks as well. Obviously, Aaron Smith also is a veteran scrum off, but in this sort of in my backline, I went for Nick White. Like what
Yeah,
I want to
no,
see
I
from a
respect it.
scrum off is someone with niggle and someone that can get underneath the skin of the likes of, like you said, Mapimpi, some of the forwards, and I thought he did his job very well. So credit to him.
Okay.
On number 10, on the pivot position, it was very tough once again, especially with the alternating performances from each team and also alternating changes when it comes to selection. But I went with Richie Mo'unga.
Yeah.
Gabsy, look.
No, I agree.
I agree. In the game that he played, in Christchurch, he didn't have a good game. Let's be honest, he did not have a good game. I mean, he could have controlled that game better, especially since it's his home ground. But he did very well in that second game, and he did so well that he granted his spot into our list. I think 5 runs, 19 meters gained, 5 defenders beaten. That's what you want to see from a scrum. From a fly-off. So
yeah, and I think he was also pretty decent off the boot in those conditions. It was pretty bad conditions, and he was pretty decent.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah. And the fact that you can direct an attack with only some of our viewers commented only 3 handling errors. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm going to keep that there. On the wing, I went with number 11, Caleb Clark.
Retaining his position, one of the few guys.
He retains his position. He is phenomenal, man. Like in that second game, he made 8 runs and 100 meters.
Yes.
Not.
I don't know if I've done 100 meters in my life.
Honestly. No. I'm lying. I'm lying. Okay, sorry. He's done 47. Sorry, I had to check my notebook. He did 47 meters in the second game, or the first game, I think. And the second game, he did 50 meters. But still, off of only a few runs to get that amount of meters is exceptional. And defenders beaten 1 in the first game, 3 in the second game. He's been a powerhouse for the All Blacks. Yeah. From the start of this Rugby Championship. That's why they keep selecting him. And he's still a player, so there's a lot still that can happen for such a great player.
No, what a player.
Gabsy, on number 12, I have Orlando. Who, look, we had a lot of praise for De La Fuente for his beautiful try against the Aussies in that second test, but I went for Orlando this time around. From my notes, what I've seen, 10 carries, 30 sort of meters gained, which is what you want to see from a center, which is great. 1 offload in that game, and then another 8 carries with 24 meters and 2 defenders beaten. I mean, that's what you want to see from an inside center, and I thought Orlando really gives some stability. Sort of in that backline from the Argentinians. Obviously, as we mentioned, didn't have the great outing that second time around against the All Blacks, but I think Orlando is doing a pretty good job there in the midfield. There were obviously other contenders. Havili, I thought, did very well, especially in that second game. As much did
I mean, it's difficult not to stand out if you beat the Argentinians by 50 points and you're playing in the midfield. But definitely.
He did it. He did it. And he deserves it as well.
Yeah.
And then on 13, Gabs, obviously Lukhanyo being injured because he's had a phenomenal Rugby Championship up until this point. And I was almost at the point that I was going to pick him regardless. But this time around, I went with Riku Ioane.
No, 100% agree. 100%.
He didn't have the best game, that first game that they lost against Argentina in Christchurch. But that game in Hamilton, I haven't seen him play on center that well. I think since he started playing center, he was phenomenal. I mean, from my notes, I've got 11 carries. 100 meters gained from those 11 carries, which is exceptional. 4 clean breaks, which is, from an outside center point of view, fantastic. And then definitely 6 defenders beaten. So, I mean, Riku Ioane was on fire. It's really good to see him have a good game on center because I think he had many doubters in that position. But he's a big lad and he's still going to learn. And that performance is something that's going to give him a lot of confidence. Then, one that's going to give me a lot of shit is on 14, I got Mariko Korobeti. Okay. Bring it to me, Gabs. I don't even want to
Anyways,
hear it.
I just still personally think that was still a yellow card and a penalty try in that first game. I know I've been stuck on
No.
this, but it was
Okay.
definitely a shoulder charge. Anyways, I respect
Agree
your
to
decision,
disagree.
Gordy.
How we
I
do it.
respect your decision, and he played an excellent game. His work rate is amazing.
See, that's
I
why. That's
agree.
exactly the word that you use now. His work rate, Gabs. For a winger, for example, that tackle that you mentioned that he made on Mapimpi that you thought should have been a yellow card. I mean, the amount of ground that he covered to get there was incredible. The fact that he came from across the field to make that tackle, and in my opinion, he did rap. But in that second game as well, even though they did lose to the Springboks, he was still trying up until the last minute, and I thought he had a very good game. So I put Mariko Koroibete in there. I really like him, to be honest, as well, and I like the fact that Dave Rennie keeps on backing him. And then finally, on
Yes, Gordy.
15, I've
Please
got
tell me.
my South African. Yes,
Yeah,
I went with
finally.
DAMIAN WILLEMSE, even though he played on fly-off against the Aussies in the last test that they played in the fourth round. DAMIAN WILLEMSE has been in great form, and he's been showing that great form with the confidence that he's been playing with. We've
He's
mentioned
just what
him
a
many
player.
times in this podcast. I think if it comes down to some sort of performance or player of the championship between the two of us, we won't look much further than DAMIAN WILLEMSE. I mean, for us both, he's been a great player. I mean, the fact that he can ignite the attack so well from that Springboks, which has been troubling for them for quite some time, and just bringing
Definitely.
that confidence and that energy. So,
No,
Gabsy, that's
definitely.
my backline.
Goody, I
That's my
appreciate you
backline.
bringing at least one buck into that backline. I was almost losing
Definitely
myself.
there's going to
Um,
be definitely there's
yeah,
going to be some controversy in terms of my selection, but I would love to hear from the viewers in terms of who they would have selected in terms of the backline and the forwards, as you mentioned. And like we mentioned in the start, guys, we have a rugby championship team that is going to come out after the next two rounds, and that's where we require
and
some of your
we
assistance.
have a new thing we want to introduce this episode, guys. I know if you made it this far and if you're still watching the video, please go comment below your Butterfingers of the week. Our Butterfingers
Butterfingers.
go out to a player who was nowhere. I don't know, for those of you who've played Rugby 08, Butterfingers was basically
Okay, but
the
Gabsy,
commentating for Slippery
hit me
Hands.
with the butterfingers of the week
Butterfingers
from
of
the
the week
person.
goes out to the one and only Mr. Jesse Creel. Once
Yeah, no,
again,
that's
the question marks just goes on. Um, so
the
please,
question
yes,
mark
yes,
just keeps on going. Yeah,
definitely.
unfortunately, Jesse Krill hasn't been performing anywhere near his form from 2015. And to be honest, I mean, I've been open about it in this podcast. I think it is time to go, unfortunately. So that's
Yeah,
our Butterfingers of the week. Tell us who you would have thought would have had the Butterfingers of
it
the
doesn't
last
necessarily mean that
game.
they have Butterfingers in that game, but it's just, who do you think was
It's
nowhere?
definitely a Rugby 08 reference when
It's
it
a
comes
rugby.
to the.
Like I said, it is a rugby 08 difference. So, I mean,
It
for
is,
us,
yeah.
we're creating a new concept with this, and this is going to be to like the wooden mic, the worst player of the round this far
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the week.
Unfortunately,
So,
yeah.
Jesse just
But
not being
Gabsy,
anywhere.
let's
Yeah.
end it off. We're out of time, unfortunately.
Yes.
For our viewers, we're coming back with a preview for the fifth round of the Rugby Championship. It's very exciting. I mean, if you look at that table,
Yeah.
the
It's super
standings, there's a
competitive right
lot.
now. I mean, anybody could take it.
Very competitive, man. Very
I
competitive.
mean,
Lot that can happen, and we're really looking a lot forward to those next two games coming up. So, Gabsy, anything lost from your
yes.
end?
No, Gordy, thank you so much for your time, guys. Please go, share with friends and family. Comment below. Let
Yeah,
us know what you think of who was your wooden mic, would you like to see in the team of the tournament, etc. And super excited to see you guys in the preview. So excited to have some rugby again this weekend.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're looking forward to engagement. It helps the channel, and then yeah, we'll chat to you guys towards the end of the week.
Thank you so much, Gordy. See you guys. Cheers.
Thanks, Gabsy. Cheers.